Hi guys, welcome back. So today we'll be taking a look at the Chinese stocks listed in the US. Before we begin, remember to take a second to give the video a like and subscribe as you already help our channel. Without further ado, let's first start off with Alibaba or BABA. So we can see that Alibaba is starting to create recent high. So that is a pretty good sign, and also creating higher highs. From this high, we have seen a higher high, and from this low, we are also seeing a higher low. So that is a good sign, and we see a wave pattern forming like that. So looking back, we were looking at a low of 801 to a high of 85.68. We pulled back down, but was well supported by the 61.8% at 75.11. And not forgetting, on the way up, this cloud also acted as a strong resistance until on this particular day here, you can see that we actually continued to go back beyond the cloud resistance. So that is a sign of strength. As for now, we're looking at the resistance after this 61.8%, 86.96. The next resistance after clearing the $90 psychological resistance will be 94.83 and potentially 104.85. Having said that, if we pull back down, then this blue conversion line at 83 and 76.83, which is this red baseline, should act as a strong support on the way down. Not forgetting, we are now above the cloud, so that is a sign of an uptrend. And if we will pull back down, the cloud should act as a potential strong support before going back up. So let's move on to Tencent. So for Tencent, it's very much like a double top pattern. If we pull back down from here, looking at the supports, we're looking at this first blue conversion line is around 37. Second red baseline is around 32.50. So you can see 61.8% was in fact near well supported at this previous resistance here. So you can see that this previous resistance has in fact turned to support before we actually continue to climb back up. On the way down, the cloud should also act as a strong support, where we see actually buyers stepping in at this cloud support level. So where is the next resistance? If we manage to clear this 39 and also the $40 psychological resistance, then we are looking at the recent high of 43, which will be our next short-term target. Let's move on to NetEase. So for NetEase, you can see that we are really in the cloud resistance. So do expect a lot of resistance here. And looking at the pullback, we can see that we actually pulled all the way back to 50% from a low of 309 and 74.98. We put back all the way to the 50% support. And you can see that buyers actually step back in at this red baseline here. So this is a very critical support that we have to hold in the event that we break down this blue conversion line at 67.62. This red baseline around 64.42 must hold on the way down for NetEase to continue to climb higher, potentially sending us to 75.64 and 81.78. Moving on to NIO. So you can see that NIO on Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday and Friday itself, we saw a pretty nice, good looking green candles, but now we are on the way up to cloud resistance. So this should act as a pretty strong resistance. So we have already surpassed this 50% at 12.63 after consolidating for a few days and in fact a few weeks. So we may see a upside ahead next week. So you can see that this was the previous resistance here, and it has now turned into support on Thursday and Friday itself. For the next critical resistance to watch out for will be 13.63. In the event that we can actually cross this 13.63, then we may be looking towards a $15 psychological resistance before sending us to 16.88, which was the recent high here. So there is a lot of cloud resistance, and the cloud is pretty thick. So the thicker the cloud, the stronger the resistance. In the event that we pull back, this blue conversion line and this red baseline, which is not too far away, is at 11.50 and 11.18. Moving on to JD.com. So you can see that JD once again came back all the way down to test this 61.8% around $49. So this 61.8% is a very critical support that we have to hold. There was also a lot of cloud support here on the way down, and we actually saw a bounce back up to test the recent high here around $58. If you can surpass it, then the $60 or 60.44 is the next resistance to watch out for before retesting the high of 67.87. As for now, this blue conversion line around 54 is a first support to watch out for. Second support would be this red baseline and around $48. Let's move on to Baidu. So for Baidu, we can see that we actually hit the cloud resistance and we continue to climb up further. So that is a sign of strength. As for now, we already crossed this 105, 61.8% next resistance, which is currently on Friday itself. This is 114.18, 78.6%. If we can clear it, then potentially sending us to 125.23. That said, if we pull back, then 103 and 95 is the next two support to watch out for. Moving on to PDD. So you can see that PDD had a very good climb. So previous week, we saw that we saw a very much like a double top. But apparently, you can see that the pullback was not as great. In fact, we hold this 8.6% at 65.48 and not even testing this 61.8% at $60. So that was once again a sign of strength. And after clearing this critical resistance, we saw a breakout back strongly. So where exactly is the next resistance to watch out for? So you can see that the previous low for PDD was around 23.21, recent high 95.58. So after clearing this 8.6% at $80, we may potentially have a free ride all the way until 95.58 if we manage to cross this $90 psychological resistance. Having said that, there is a gap to be filled on this particular day here, and this particular low was around 89.10. So we are already approaching this particular gap, and after filling it, we may see a pullback down or see more selling pressure. Looking at the support to watch out for, we're looking at this blue commercial line, 76.15 and also $68. Let's move on to KWEB. So you can see that KWEB, we hit the cloud resistance on the way up, but the cloud also acted as a strong support on the way down before sending us even higher. So this is a good sign. You can see that the charts are creating a very nice higher low pattern. So this is a higher low, this is a higher low, and this is a higher high, and this is a higher high as well. So this is a good sign for now until the trend reverses. So 78.6% at 28.88 was in fact already broken through. So the next one to watch out for will be the $30 psychological resistance, and thereafter 32.05, which was this recent high here. In the event that we pull back, then 27 and 24 is the next supports to watch out for. Moving on to CWEB. So you can see that CWEB on the way down, the cloud also acted as a pretty good support. However, the pullback here at this 61.8% was in fact a very strong support. So the 61.8%, 33.27 was not broken, and thereafter we saw a climb back up. So the next resistance after clearing 48.31, which it has on Friday itself, will be 56.68 and 67.33. Looking at the pullbacks, 42.35 and 36 is the two supports to watch out for. Lastly, we have FXI. So FXI, once again, we saw a critical resistance at this cloud resistance, but after testing it several days, we actually surpassed it, and we held this 61.8% well above it. So the low back then was only around $25, around 30 to 50 cents away from the 61.8%. And very soon, we actually saw a gap up, and a very strong one, in fact, even surpassing the cloud resistance on one particular day. So after the 61.8%, 27 is being cleared. So you can see that we actually hit the next resistance, which is still quite about $1 away. It's around this 29.40, 78.6% if we can continue to climb up. And if that even clear the $30 psychological resistance, then potentially we may see the 31.72 being tested. If we pull back down, then the two support to watch out for 27 and also $24. So overall, you can see that the Chinese stocks are looking pretty good for now. In the event that the previous resistance can turn into good support, then potentially we may continue to climb up further. So if there's any changes, I'll give you guys an update. Thanks for stopping by. Till we meet again, appreciate the manipulation.